The question that we've been asked is how do we apply credit to an already billed disbursement? For that, I'm going to take example of a disbursement. Let's say you have a billable software expense, $150, and you paid that, and you're actually charging it to the client, saying that, hey, I spent this $150 for your matter on some software, and you're billing it to your client. So let's raise a quick invoice. So once you raise an invoice, what the software does is it'll lock that disbursement, basically because it now needs to be a receivable and the client actually owes that money. Now let's say the software company decided to give you a rebate. So when you try to actually unedit it and you unlock it, you can change everything here, but you cannot change the amount. So let's say they gave you a $50 rebate. How will you put that into the system? The first and foremost thing is, if you want to pass that 50 to the client, you have to give them a discount. So let's do that first. We'll click on the action button. We'll add a discount and say software rebate, and we will enter the amount here as $50. The software immediately calculates the HST. Now you have to mark this one as a disbursement because it is a disbursement that you're giving a rebate, and you will hit the discount. Now this only applies the discount on top of the disbursement that you actually charge the client. There's still an expense that you incur. So if you go to accounts and you actually look at your expense account on client expenses, you should now see that it's showing you that you paid $150 on April 16th on software expense. Now you need to give yourself a rebate too because you got that rebate from the company. So when you actually deposit that check, or maybe it was a transfer on your credit card, what you can do is you can say action, go to payment button, and give yourself that client expense credit memo. Now the most important thing is you obviously need to know who the client is and what that matter was. So it is John Smitty. So I'm going to go back to accounts and say action, payment, client expense credit memo. Obviously I have to search for John Smitty. Here you go. It immediately picks the client, Smitty versus Doug. You can take an action and say software rebate, and I believe it was $50. So we can put that. And it was, let's say they credited it right back into your credit card. So you can just say, hey, it was credited back into the credit card, which I used to pay, right? And you can hit the save button. So even if you look now in your credit card account, which I'm going to now look at in my bank, you should see that $169.50 was charged and then $56.50 was the rebate that you got as a credit memo. So clearly what the software is able to do is two things. One, when you give a discount here, the invoice is reduced by that amount. And when you actually go to accounts and actually put a credit memo, it's actually put on the account and reduces your expense as well.